Hi, this is Moody from Super Debate Bros, and we're talking about the Karl-Anthony trade to the Knicks. And this is 1 week after I didn't want to give my initial reaction. I wanted to think about it and see how I felt. So let's talk about Karl-Anthony heading to the Knicks. First things first, I'm surprised that he got traded. I know it was a weird fit with him and Gobert. I always felt it was, but they made it work. I mean, they beat the defending champions. They took care of the Phoenix Suns, and they were doubted every series they've went to. And when they went to playing against Dallas in the conference finals, and they lost. And they people saw their weaknesses, but you would think that they would give it a chance to adjust, and they just didn't. And I know there's a lot from Minnesota saying that this opens up cap space and this everything, but they traded the second best player away, who was shooting amazing. Karl-Anthony Towns was shooting about 50% from the field goal on 22 points per game. With 8 rebounds and 3 assists. He was shooting, I believe, the best that he was in his career from the three-point line. And, they were better with him defensively and just in general with him on the bench. But still, you would think they would give it a chance to work, especially they went so far in the playoffs. It's not like they lost early. So with that being said, him shooting 42% the 3-point line is nothing to joke about. And this is their second year together. And the first year he played only 29 games, so you have to give him some credit. He came back, played a whole new role, and adjusted. And it's weird. It's him joining the Knicks is a little weird because Knicks grit and grind all last year. With Zay Hardenstein and Mitchell Robinson as their centers. They did the OG Anunoby trade with RJ Barrett, trading quickly away as well. And, trading for signing Dante DiVincenzo in the last year's free agency. Acquiring Josh Hart the year before. They, Villanova Knicks didn't get a chance, but they still have a Miles Bridges. But, the Knicks seem like a really grit and grind team that, Tom Thibodeau's their coach, as if anyone knows who've been watching the basketball in the last 15 years. Tom Thibodeau's a defensive head coach. He coached the Bulls to many top 10 defenses in the league, top 5. He coached the Timberwolves and the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau, however, has coached with has played or coached Karl-Anthony Towns before, and Karl-Anthony Towns, I think had 3-4 seasons under him. I think 3.5 technically. I think the last full year that he was on the same team, coach, the Wolves, Karl-Anthony Towns posted up a lot. I mean, his 3-point shot back then was 35%, so it wasn't as great as it was now. But he was shooting a career high of 55%. He was shooting about 42% at the 3-point line. So he was shooting he was playing pretty well offensively, and then defensively, he was averaging about 1.5 blocks per game. With that being said, now he is going to be much of a. They're going to have to use it. He's going to have to carry the defense a little more. But with that being said, people are worried that they're going to start losing games because they're not going to have Hardenstein, but Karl-Anthony Towns. But people forget, Karl-Anthony Towns does average about 10 rebounds per game for his career. About 11 actually. They're going to be fine rebounding. OG Anunoby or Miles Bridges, whoever plays the 4 is going to be a little smaller. I think it'll be Anunoby. But Josh Hart's a big dude. I mean, he's 6'4", but he grabs boards. Average 7-8 rebounds per game. They're going to be fine rebounding. Defensively, Thibodeau's been good at hiding players. And people say you need a great center to have great defense. I would disagree. The Bulls been top 10 defensive in the last few years with Vucevic running the reign, and same thing in Orlando. With Vuce was not a great defensive center technically, 1-on-1 or anything, but you're able to hide him. Miles Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart are going to have to work harder. Are they going to be better defensively than last year? Not really. I don't think so. But will they be better offensively? Yes. Jalen Brunson, I mean, the space is open for him. No disrespect to Hardenstein or Robinson, but they're not the best offensively. Hardenstein is better than Robinson by a decent amount, but you have you legit play 5 out now. There's no doubt, and I do believe in Towns playing center and guarding the rim. He is fast enough. And people forget in college that he was known as for a defensive player, not as offensive. He developed that game as he was in Minnesota. Easily, he has the capability. He's only, 28, 29 years old? Yeah, 28 years old. He'll be 29 later this year. He's still young. He's 7 foot. He's 248. He's a heavy guy still. As long as you have a good defensive system and you have players around him, he's going to play well defensively. And offensively, he just creates a whole new dynamic that Knicks didn't have. And this ups their chances of winning the championship, in my opinion, because not only you have the starting lineup of Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns, your bench is pretty bad. You have McBride still. You still got Mitchell Robinson, which is a great 7-man lineup. Could there be a little more detail, depth? Sure, but it's not like by any means they messed up this team. I think people are a little more worried because they lost Dante, but Dante anyways didn't want to be waiting and playing off the bench or to have reduced minutes anyway. So this is a great pickup. Now, do I think the Knicks need some wing help off the bench? Yeah, I mean, because the players they only have is Precious, Anunoby, who's always been a prospect. He's been playing better somewhat, but he's just still a prospect, and I don't know if you can really trust him. Cameron Payne's a point guard, so McBride could play some too, and, in general, the Knicks or Tom Thibodeau teams do play heavy minutes, but you do want to get at least 2 more players off the bench to help. Unless some of the rookies play well. I'm not too familiar with rookies as really. I don't really pay attention to college or stuff like that. I kind of wait until they get into the league. But yeah, this is a good pickup for the Knicks. I think maybe their depth is a little lower, a little less what they had last year. With the injuries, they really didn't need the depth. So if they pick up a player or two in the free agency or make some trades later on, they'll be okay. But the starting lineup is. The starting 5 is probably in the top 10, maybe top 5 NBA. I gotta really think about that first, but they're gonna be okay. Jalen Brunson has a second option now, and a consistent second option, a really good second option. Heading to the Timberwolves, let's talk about Dante a little bit first. Dante's a great fit for this team. Mike Conley's getting older. Dillingham is not. We aren't sure if he's ready yet. I'm not saying he's gonna take the starting line from Conley. But a backup guard that could play about 28 to 32 minutes per game that shoots pretty fucking well. Perfect for Ant. This is a perfect fit for Ant. And a perfect fit for the team. Great defensive guard. Little playmaking. Great shooter. You got a guy. That's a steal to have. As a good replacement for Cat in terms of shooting. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now for Julius Randle, I think he gets more crap that he deserves. He was an all-star last year. Is he the perfect role player or perfect second, third option? Not really. He needs the ball in his hand to be more efficient. He's not a great shooter, a Cat, but he might be a better fit next to Gobert. I mean, he can hold the ball. He can do ball handling. He plays on the wing, and he's not a bad defender. You can hide him if you really need to, but you don't really need to. I feel like you can hide him on a certain player. I mean, you think about it, he plays at Denver. I don't think he could guard. Here's the thing. Realistically, I don't think he could guard Jokic. But you have Gobert for that. And as long as Randall could stay in front of him and in general, Gobert could just play off him as well. Off Aaron Gordon and just help. So, Denver, he's going to be efficient against Denver. Dallas, Karl-Anthony Towns got shut down by Dallas. I don't know if Julius Randle will be because he's not as a flat-out shooter, but here's the thing: there's no space for him to post up as well. But here's the thing: Julius Randle played with Mitchell Robinson, and he played with Hartenstein, and he played with Mitchell Robinson for a lot, at least a couple of years. So he's used to playing with less space, and he's able to make it work. He's a good player. He could make a little bit. He has the skills, and I think that it's not a big loss. However, people are arguing that that he should come off the bench, for Naz Reid, but I don't think so. Let Naz Reid still run the 6-man. And if he's willing to come off the bench, then sure, run it, but you don't need him to. He's not a bad player. He's not a crappy player that everyone says, like, oh, this is an awful fit. The Wolves lost. I don't think they lose. I mean, like, people are like, well, I'm not going to talk about the picks or like the Hornets or anything about that, because the picks is a top 13 Pistons pick. Eventually, we'll turn to, I think, a second-round pick from the Pistons. I don't know how it works. Or 2 second-rounders. I don't remember how it works exactly. But, let's just hope. I mean, here's the thing. The Wolves made the conference finals, and they barely win. I think they had 3 playoff. They only have, they only made the playoffs a couple times, and the only time they got playoff wins was in the same year, 2004, and then last year in 2023 or 2024. So it's been 20 years since they made the conference finals. And you trade with your second best player. I was hoping they made the right trade, because if you make this mistake a couple of years from now, you don't have any of your draft picks. Gobert and Conley might be gone or might be retired. I don't know what they're going to do with Gobert specifically, because he'd be a free agent, I believe, the year after this or next year. Conley is, I think, 36. He's going to retire soon, and you can't rely on a 36-point guard to be carrying your offense. Playmaking, that's why you have Dante there, but, Ant's young. You got Ant for a generational superstar player. You don't want to waste that. So from here on out, they just really, really need to be careful what they do, and hopefully it doesn't bite their ass, because this could have been a championship team, and if Julius Randle's not involved with that, they really did mess up. These are my thoughts. Comment, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time.